In the day's other news, tensions surged even higher in Iraq after a bloodbath in the last 24 hours. Security forces shot dead at least 40 protesters. Gunfire sounded in the southern city of Nasiriyah, where 31 people were killed. Crowds later joined funeral processions despite a curfew. 4 more died in Baghdad as protesters again denounced government corruption and economic mismanagement.
People are here today to demand their rights that have been stolen. For the past 16 years, the people have been played. We've been living in destruction and wars. The youths and all the generations have been destroyed.
Meanwhile, video from Najaf showed the Iranian consulate there burning last night and protesters cheering as they condemned Tehran's influence in their country. In recent days, Iran carried out a crackdown on widespread protests in its own cities. We'll discuss that situation later in the program. Fierce fires are still burning tonight at a chemical plant in East Texas, forcing more than 50,000 people to spend Thanksgiving away from their homes. 2 explosions rocked the site of Port Neches on Wednesday, leading to evacuations within a 4-mile radius. Today, huge plumes of black smoke billowed overhead as the fires raged on. Fire crews used water cannons to cool down nearby tanks and prevent new explosions. A winter storm system that disrupted Thanksgiving travel across parts of the country eased today. In New York, giant balloons were able to fly at the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, but they stayed much lower as spectators looked on.
Very windy. All of the balloons, all of the people carrying the balloons, they really had a tough task today keeping everything under control.
I saw a few people go down. I hope they're okay. Yeah, it was pretty rough.
In Southern California, snow forced Interstate 5 to close for the second time in 3 days. Forecasters also warned of trouble ahead for holiday travelers in the western and central U.S. Beginning tomorrow night through Saturday, the region could get 2 feet of snow. An unusually severe rainy season in East Africa is causing severe flooding across 3 countries. In Djibouti, more than a foot of rain fell in a single day. That's about 2 years' worth of normal rainfall in an otherwise arid country. In Kenya, the government says 120 people have died in mudslides and flooding. And Somalia has seen heavy flooding as well. The rains could continue through the end of the month. China today condemned President Trump's signing of 2 bills backing human rights in Hong Kong. The foreign ministry in Beijing warned the measures could damage cooperation with the U.S., but it didn't directly mention trade talks. In Hong Kong, thousands of pro-democracy activists gathered this evening, many of them wearing masks. They welcomed the new American laws.
We're very thankful for that, and we knew that today is Thanksgiving, so we especially want to thank the United States citizens and also the President Donald Trump for supporting Hong Kong.
The rally was the latest in 6 months of protests that have roiled Hong Kong. North Korea has carried out another weapons test, the 13th this year. The North today fired 2 short-range projectiles that flew 235 miles out to sea off its eastern coast. State media said it was the latest test of a new rocket launcher. The North has carried out several launches in recent months, and it presses the U.S. for progress in nuclear talks by the end of the year. A federal appeals court in Washington has temporarily delayed forcing former White House counsel Don McGahn to appear before Congress. A lower court had ruled Monday that he must comply with a congressional subpoena that was issued as part of the Russia investigation. The appeals court said it will hear arguments in the case on January 3rd. And as American shoppers gear up for a Black Friday buying binge, some lawmakers in France say they want to put an end to it. They say it over-promotes overconsumption and waste and generates emissions that damage the climate. The proposal to ban Black Friday will be debated in the National Assembly next month. Still to come on the NewsHour, a discussion with experts on past impeachments, how some farms are turning food waste into sustainable energy, a report from Iran following a violent crackdown on nationwide protests, and much more.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.